Welcome to Specific Glow, and this is the 16th edition of 10 Life Hacks with PVC. Let's begin.
Have you ever been out fishing and you just wish you had a little bit more advantage, maybe be able to see underwater so you know whether or not there's actually fish there? Well, one of my viewers, who goes by Eric's Projects, had a great idea. This is some 1/2-inch PVC. We have a T connector here. And we have some PVC going out with some pool noodles on both sides, and then some end caps on the ends here so that it keeps water from actually going inside. Now we have a length of PVC that comes down. You can adjust this to whatever length you want. And then we can take a GoPro. Yes, I know a GoPro usually has an unusual attachment that screws in from the side, so you'll have to get a little adapter. These come fairly cheap, you can get. And then you can make a PVC connector here. Now I actually made this in a previous video. I'll put the link in the description, so in case you want to make one, you can. But this then easily screws in to the bottom of that adapter, which then you connect to the bottom of this project here. And now you can stick this in the water, and you can take your smartphone, get you the app so that you can see what's actually going on your GoPro underwater. That way you can see the fish, or for that matter, if you've lost something underwater, you can take this and stick this down there, and that way you can check wherever you want to check without actually having to get wet until you see what you need. Here's a great way to use some PVC for parking. I just took a long piece of 1-inch PVC. It's about 3 feet or so long. I got a T up here and then just a couple extra pieces. I painted it bright red, and then in the ground below it actually have a piece of pipe, and I just slid this over the top. The great thing about this, it will help, as in our case here, with parking but not going too far, so we can let all our grass grow. But if by chance the person does happen to bump it, because it's plastic, it shouldn't cause nearly as much damage. Have you ever had one of those moments that you just wish you had a little extension on your cart? I mean, whether you're reeling around maybe your kid or just something large, got a good fix for you. This great idea was sent to me by Brian at AAA Piano Works. To add a little extension to your normal little cart, he took, this is some 3/4 inch PVC, and I have a T going to here that extends out to a 45 degree, and then just a piece of additional PVC that goes out to a T for a nice little handle. On the ends out here, to also not only keep this somewhat centered, he had some 90-degree elbows that can act as a great little clip for your keys too. So that's a great way to add a little extension to your cart.
A number of viewers have mentioned this great idea, and when people buy their leather boots, they want to store them upright, because when they're down like that, they can just get really bad creases, and it doesn't look good. So you just want to take a piece of PVC. This just happens to be 1.5 inch. You can use any inch of PVC you want. It just depends on the size of the boot. You want to stand it up in there, and then the boot will stand like that. And that's a great way to store your boots upright. This great idea comes from one of our viewers named Joanne Guthrie. What you want to do, for those of you like camping or other things like that, you can take some utensils or things for camping and just stick it in some regular PVC and put some end caps on it, and you can store your utensils and items in there. And also, a lot of people have suggested this, and you can take a bigger piece, put an end cap on that, and you can put tools in it like welding rods or saw blades.
This next idea came from one of our viewers named Sam Wallace. He created this pretty cool looking disc holder for his disc golf games. Now, he actually got his original idea from a video from Disc Dog Nation, and he wanted to make sure that I gave credit to them. So I'll put a link to their video in our description, and they show you a little bit more on how to actually put this together. Now, Sam actually modified his, and he took out one of the front top rails and put a rope across the front. And I believe that's actually a little bit better design than the original. But in either case, this is a pretty cool looking design that you can store your discs so you can go out and play disc golf. I found a great way to use some PVC on your bumper. If by chance you have a nice dent, this used to have a dent where somebody had backed into, I believe it was a rock. Anyway, we took some PVC. I have 1-inch PVC here. This one has a nice end cap. On the other end I have a T. That's my handle. I then use just a basic hair dryer. We went over this a number of times. And then I got under the car, stuck this way up under, and used it as leverage to help push this back out. Now this ain't perfect, but it is definitely a lot better than it was. If you like to play a guitar, well then of course you need a guitar stand. Now I'm using 3/4 inch PVC because you need it to be a little bit heavy duty. And at the bottom here I have a T, run out to a couple more T's, and then just some lengths of PVC. Now I have end caps on the end. I'll show you why in a second. At the top here, you want another T, a couple more running out from there, and some 90 degrees. And the reason why is that you can take the guitar and you rest the weight of the guitar on the footers, and you have the little end caps here because those are little stoppers for the guitar to keep it from sliding off. Then you link the top of the guitar in one of the 90 degrees here, and now it's in there pretty well. The great thing about this design too is if you have more than one guitar, you can actually take and put a couple more 90s on the other side, and because the footer is so wide, you could easily take 2 guitars and stick them back to back on your nightstand. Pool noodles are great, especially when you're in a pool. You can take one and wrap it around yourself and just sit there and relax. But there's a downside to this. If you happen to let go to reach for something, now you're fighting to get it, and anytime you go to do something, it just flings out of the way. Great idea that one of our viewers named Doc Inc. gave me is use some PVC and put inside. And now you can relax in the pool and you can reach for things, do whatever, and you don't have to worry about your pool noodle jumping around. This is also great if you have just a single pool noodle, and you can lay across it like that, or by chance if you want to have a nice pool noodle fight, it's possible to have some extra fun. Just be careful because these can hurt if you hit them too hard. Have fun in the pool.
Those of you who like to do tie-dye or just paint your shirts, here's a great way to make a shirt hanger out of PVC. What we have here is just some common 1/2-inch PVC, and we have some elbows and some T's, and you just want to make a nice base, and it's pretty much just a rectangle standing up, and you just put your shirt over it, and it's a great way to hang your shirts and dry out your shirts using PVC. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and tell us what you think about it in the comments. Also, if you have any ideas about any projects with PVC, make sure to put that in the comments too, and it could be in a future video. Also, we make new videos every week, so make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on weekly videos. Have fun building!